Now let's take the second aspect of the characteristics, which is for small scale retailing or retailer. We've taken for large scale retailing. Small scale retailing has to do with small kiosks, small shops, roadside selling, hawkers, barrow pushers who sell their wares in their wheelbarrows. These are referred to as small scale retailers. Now, what are the characteristics involved? First, it requires small capital. With small money you can start, display it on the roadside or get a small space along the street and display it. Quick decision making. Since it is just a one-man business, it's not like a chain store, departmental store, you can make your decision and then carry out activities. Low overhead costs. Sometimes you don't need to pay for shop rent. You don't need big or large space for you to carry out business. So the overhead cost is very low. Easy location. You don't have to look for urban areas before you situate your shop. You can situate your shop anywhere because you sell small quantities of products. Sales in smaller units. Small units is required. Sell small products of different brand. Provide credit facility to customers. Since they live near home, they stay around their family, their relatives, their neighbors. People can just come to them and say, please, let me buy on a later date, I'll pay. They provide all of this. So these are the characteristics of small scale retailing. Small capital, quick decision making, low overhead costs, easy location, sells in small units, and then offer credit facilities. Now we are done with our first objective, which is the characteristics of both small and large scale retailing. Now what are the advantages and disadvantages of both the large scale and the small scale? Let's take the advantages. Advantages of large scale retailing. What are the advantages? One, problem of bad debt is removed. Nobody walk into a departmental store, chain store, mail order business, e-commerce website to go and buy a credit or buy on credit. Nobody. So it is removed. Bad debt is removed. That's an advantage. It provides wide range of products. You walk into a supermarket, there are a lot of products displayed in the shelf, and then you make your choice. Purchase is made in bulk. They deal directly. It's part of the features or characteristics I gave to you. The buy in bulk. The third one, it's encouraging impulse buying. Like for supermarket or departmental stores, where you walk around, even in chain stores, the more you walk around, the more you are moved to buy goods you never planned for. Impulse buying. I think I like this. I think I like this. You just start picking. So it encourages impulse buying. High profitability. Because it's situated in urban areas and people come in, the more they sell, the turnover, it turns over on time. Then the last one is allow freedom. Customers freedom to move around the shop to make choices. They have the liberty to move around. Unlike in small shops where you have to stand and you say, please, do you have this? Do you have this? No, you have the liberty to move around. This is the advantage. Now let's see the disadvantage of large scale retailing. What are some of the disadvantages? Disadvantage of large scale retailing. They operate cash and carry. Consumers cannot tell them, please, at a later date I'll pay. They don't encourage that. High rates of products. Because there are a lot of overhead costs, the large space which they have rented, a lot of maintenance culture, it leads to high rates of the product because all those costs have to go straight to the products that they sell. And that makes the product, the price, very high. Big overhead costs. You pay for space, you pay for electricity, you pay for virtually everything that make the business run smoothly. You pay for them, making overhead costs high. Require large capital. If you don't have money, you can't go into this business because it is required that you rent a large space area. It is required that you put in big money to fund the business. Large land scale or space. The departmental store require a large space because there's parking lot. The supermarket, same thing. Chain store, the same thing, so they require large space. Delay in decision making because the management may not be there at that point. They may have to convey the message to the management, and then decision have to be taken by them. Before all of that, there will be delay in the process. So these are the disadvantages of large-scale retailing. Now let's see the advantages and disadvantages of small-scale. The next is advantages of small-scale retailing. What are the advantages? One, it requires small capital. You can start with very small capital. Secondly, they offer door-to-door service. Remember that small-scale businesses are those businesses that are very small in nature. They can be wheelbarrow pushers, they can be hawkers, they can be kiosks along the road, they can be small store in our streets. So they offer door-to-door services for those who are hawkers. Does not require large space, small place. Sometimes it don't require space because they just be moving, they are on the go. Quick decision. It is just a one-person business, and with just a small shop, if he have to lock, he immediately make the decision. The area is not good, he just lock his shop. He doesn't need to take permission from anyone. Decision making is very, very fast in small-scale business. Low overhead cost. He doesn't have to pay for security, he doesn't have to pay for big shop size, he doesn't have to pay for large space, he doesn't have to do so many counter, buy so many trolleys, so many baskets. No, like you have in departmental shops, chain stores, and supermarkets. Personal relationship with customers. In big stores, customers and the shop owners or those who are workers there do not have this cordial relationship. Though they talk, but it's not as the one you have, you know, in your neighborhood that you can interact with, talk with, make choices from alternative, get his or her opinion. So they have interpersonal relationship with customers. Now let's see some of the disadvantages that can come into play in small-scale retailing. Though the small-scale retailer have his own good side, which is the advantage, it has its own disadvantage. What are those things that causes problem for these retail traders? One is bad debts, because they live within their neighborhood, familiarities, family members, neighbors around. They will just come and say, please sell for me, I'll pay at a later date. Later date, they won't pay. At the end of the day, they will keep asking for that money and they will not pay. It leads to bad debt, which can kill the business. Now the next one is limited number of goods. Because there is low capital involved, the amount of goods the customer, the retailer can sell is limited, because it's a limited amount of money he is using or she is using. Low capital, he can't buy as much as he wants to. Poor location, you see some on traffic, some on the roadside, some on small kiosks. On hot weather, you see those in caravans. Everywhere is very hot. Those in traffic, their life is at risk. Those on the roadside, rain can come and disturb their products or their business. So poor location, lack expert knowledge. They are not well knowledgeable in business as much as that. They just use their small capital, start off business. And then competition. You go to some streets, you see line of retail shops selling same thing. A lot of competition among themselves. So these are the disadvantages you have for small scale businesses. So we've been able to discuss the characteristics of large and small scale. We've been able to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of large and small scale business. That will be our class for today in our commerce class. We'll talk of other areas when we meet in our commercial class. Thank you for dropping by. Subscribe if you've not subscribed. Click on that red subscribe button so that anytime we upload a new video, you will be notified. Thank you for being part of